Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. 7:35, Wednesday, July 20th, 69 degrees. Got up to 78 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are now joined on the line by my favorite congressman in the whole wide world. That's Congressman Tom MacArthur, reporting live from Cleveland. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Well, good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
I am fantastic, and I must say, part of the best-looking delegation at the convention by far.
Well, it is a sharp delegation, to be sure.
All right, so how are things going there? What's the mood like? Is the party unified? What's going on?
Jeremy, I think the party is getting there, and we are a big tent party, unlike the Democrats, where everything is all the same and they march in lockstep. The Republican Party has a lot of ideas. We always have since the beginning, and this party is coming together. Obviously, last night was a big night with the official nomination, and the mood here, I think, is good. It's there's not as many protests. There are people wanting to move this party forward and win the White House in November.
Right. And so for someone like yourself, is this an opportunity for you to kind of work on some of the things that are on your agenda? Because I'm sure, this is really kind of a coming together of everyone who's anyone in the party. So is this a good opportunity for you to work on some of the things that are so near and dear to your heart, like our joint base and things like that?
Well, there's some of that, but it's more of a political environment. Certainly a great opportunity for me to spend time with people, develop relationships with people that could help in those things and help in ways that are impossible to see today. But I think that's one of the values here. You meet a lot of people. I'm here staying in the same hotel as the New Jersey delegation, and so it's a great opportunity to see the people that are here from our state, and it's an exciting atmosphere.
That's great. And I think, as you mentioned earlier, the protests have been less than what was expected. There was certainly a lot of concern around security in general in light of what's going on around the country. But, every picture you see just an incredible amount of kind of police presence, and it seems like things are well in hand by the group there.
Well, they are, and the police have been fabulous, Jeremy. They're very visible and everywhere, very polite, but clearly vigilant and keeping their eye on things. But, nonetheless, there's a lot of people here, and we have a lot of enemies in the world, and so we have to, I think it's incumbent on everybody to keep our eyes open. I certainly do. When I step out on the street and walk from here to there, I'm looking,
Right.
You're just looking around and making sure that things look as they ought to.
Right. I thought Chris Christie's speech last night, I thought it was really, 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 really well done, and I thought it was almost like his tryout for the Attorney General position. What did you think of that?
Well, it was a strong speech, and he put the focus, I think, where it belongs, and that is on who Hillary Clinton is, what she's done over the last years, the kind of person she is, the dishonesty, the taking advantage of everything, breaking rules, breaking laws even for her own convenience. And he put that in sharp focus, and we should remember who she is, not just the policies which have been disastrous for the last 8 years that she would continue, but is also a person who has a long history of doing whatever's convenient for her whether it breaks rules, whether it's exercises terribly poor judgment. And I thought he brought that into very sharp focus in a very interesting way.
Right. And I think there's also, aside from the clear Hillary Clinton piece, I think there's been a lot of focus also, for obvious reasons, around our national security and around our place in the world and around the fact that we really need to be much more, I can't even say proactive at this point, but much more aggressive in how we deal with these radical jihadists. Is that kind of the sense you're getting there as well?
It is, and we should have that focus. And we should remember that as much as we need to hold our president accountable, and Barack Obama has clearly left us in a weaker state of security than when he took office, but Hillary Clinton was not a spectator. She was a big part of that. She was in the center of that administration for the first term, and many of the failures of the second term we owe to her actions in the first term. Things like the terrible Iran deal, the flawed Cuba deal, those things didn't start overnight. Those were years in the making, and she was part of that, and she needs to answer for that.
Certainly, and that's the sense I think we're getting. And I know, me for one, I feel like you could clearly sense that the momentum is moving in the direction of the Republican Party, and I think that's good for everyone, especially someone like yourself, who obviously it's an important year for you, and the top of the ticket being strong is a good thing for the whole group, correct?
Oh, yeah, that is very much correct. I pay attention to that. I'm certainly running my own campaign, but the things that happen at the national level affect the entire ticket, and it affects our local towns. We have a good conservative governance throughout many of the towns in South Jersey, but those things are up for grabs. We need to make sure we keep good, strong county government and state level, and they're all affected by the top of the ticket.
Right. Well, Congressman MacArthur, I want to thank you so much for all you're doing for our area. I know that there's been a lot of buzz here, certainly within the business community and within the military community, that we are, that we're among the finalists for this tremendous mission for the Joint Base, and we owe a lot of that to the work that you're doing on the ground in making sure that we not only get our fair share, but that the Jersey Shore and Burlington County and all of Ocean County gets their unfair share as we rebuild after some of the devastation we've dealt with in the last couple of years.
Well, you mentioned two critical areas, Jeremy. Certainly with the Joint Base, the getting the new tankers there has been a high priority for me and others in the delegation. Most of the base is in my district, and so I'm certainly extremely focused on it. And, there's a lot of discussions that happen in the background and a lot of things that happen to position the base to make sure that those involved in the decision understand not only the assets, the military assets, they certainly understand, but the things that we're willing to do at the state level, the way local communities treat the children, for example, of our troops that are stationed there, all those things play into it. And we went from 11 bases down to now 5, and we obviously two of the remaining bases are going to get the tankers. I want us to be the first one, and that's what we're working towards. And then you also mentioned the devastation of Sandy, which is still very much evident throughout Ocean County. And that is a very high priority for me as I go into next year and we reauthorize the flood program. I want to be front and center in those discussions and make sure that we have a program that really helps people, because it has failed in many, many respects over the last 3.5 years.
Absolutely. Congressman Tom MacArthur, I know you got a busy couple days left, culminating in Donald Trump taking the stage tomorrow. So we thank you for checking in and spending some time with us this morning.
My pleasure, Jeremy. Have a great day.
You too. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, back after this.
Rush Limbaugh today at noon. More Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin coming up next. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.